Just before our wedding was supposed to happen, my fiancée, Chloe, decided to fly abroad to track down her first love. In response, I went on social media and publicly declared my own first love was back in my life. This sent shockwaves through our circle of friends, as everyone was well aware of how deeply I had once adored Chloe. I had even been the one to put in the effort to facilitate the marriage discussions between our two families. When Chloe returned, she confronted me with a mocking tone, questioning what kind of stunt I was trying to pull. I simply pulled my true first love, Maya, into a hug and gave Chloe a look of complete unfamiliarity, asking her who she was. The day Chloe's new flame, a celebrity named Ethan, left the country, my social media accounts were inundated with a storm of insults. His dedicated fan base launched a vicious campaign against me, claiming that their beloved star was forced to abandon his career in China because of threats I had made. They painted me as the archetypal villain, the wealthy heir of a powerful corporation who used his influence to intimidate his romantic rival. Their narrative was bolstered by the fact that on the very day our engagement was announced, Chloe had made a public appearance at a charity gala with Ethan on her arm. Their body language was undeniably intimate, and when reporters pressed her about her supposed engagement to me, she simply offered a cold, dismissive smirk, saying nothing and showing a complete lack of respect for me or our families. The rumor mill began to churn at a furious pace. So-called neutral observers online claimed that I had leveraged my family's business connections to pressure Chloe's family into the marriage, all because of my own obsession with her. They spun a tale suggesting that my jealousy over her history with Ethan had driven me to retaliate against him by forcing him out of the country. These rumors became so pervasive that even my closest friends started to believe that my love for Chloe was entirely one-sided and unrequited. The truth, however, was that the marriage proposal had originated from Chloe's parents, not mine. I had no hand in initiating it. I had been hesitant about the whole arrangement, but eventually I picked up my phone to call Chloe. It took a while for her to answer, and when she finally did, her voice was laced with impatience. "What is it now?" she snapped. I hesitated for a moment before speaking. "Where are you? I think we need to talk." I could hear her click her tongue in annoyance on the other end of the line. "We aren't even married yet, Leo. What makes you think you have the right to control my movements?" Faintly, through the phone, I could make out the muffled sound of airport announcements. "Are you at the airport? Where are you going?" I asked, my own frustration growing. Her tone was dripping with irritation and disdain. "I'll go wherever I want. It's none of your business. What exactly did I do to make you so angry that you'd go along with this ridiculous marriage proposal just to coerce me with your company's influence?" she demanded. Chloe scoffed. "You were the one who wanted to break up back then, remember?" She was right. I paused, the memories flooding back. Back in college, my feelings for Chloe had been genuine. It had taken a significant amount of effort to win her over, but soon after we started dating, Ethan appeared in our lives. He never hesitated to mock me, telling me that Chloe's feelings for me weren't real, and that if he so much as beckoned, she would leave me without a second thought. Whenever I tried to subtly suggest that Chloe should create some distance from Ethan, she would brush off my concerns, insisting they were just friends and telling me not to be so petty and insecure. These conversations invariably spiraled into heated arguments. Not long after, the college's online forum was flooded with posts that ridiculed me, labeling me as Chloe's loyal puppy. I went from being a popular campus figure to the butt of jokes and gossip. Eventually, I couldn't take it anymore and decided to end our relationship. When I broke up with her, she was silent for a long time, before she bit her lip and said, "Fine, Leo. If you break up with me now, don't you ever come crawling back." I honored her wish and never reached out to her again. I never imagined that 5 years later, our parents would select Chloe as a prospective match for me. and that she would completely misunderstand the situation, believing I was the one threatening her into a marriage she didn't want. Regarding the marriage, Chloe, I tried to explain my side of the story, but she cut me off sharply. Don't worry, she sneered, her voice cold. I don't like you, but I'm not going to abandon my family's company over it. You want the title of my husband, Leo? Fine, I'll give you that. But don't you dare expect anything more from me. The very next day, photographs of Chloe and Ethan shopping together abroad surfaced online. Chloe was pictured carrying bags from several luxury brands, a wide, happy smile on her face, while Ethan held her hand, their fingers tightly intertwined. One particularly intimate photo showed them standing close, their faces just inches apart, as if they were about to kiss. The photographer had posted it casually on their social media, with the caption, "Spotted an incredibly attractive couple while traveling abroad. So sweet." The post quickly went viral. Isn't that the celebrity, Ethan? And the woman with him is Chloe, right? One comment read. Leo must be having a major meltdown right now. Sure, he has money and power, but Chloe still clearly prefers Ethan. Our Ethan has a charm that no one can resist. People online gushed about how perfectly matched Chloe and Ethan seemed. Some even managed to dig up our old college forum history. Oh my God. Apparently, Leo used his position as a department head in college to make things difficult for Ethan, someone posted. I vaguely recalled the incident. Ethan hadn't fulfilled his responsibilities within our student department, so at the end of the year, I hadn't nominated him for the Outstanding Member Award. This seemed to have infuriated him. He complained that he needed the award for his scholarship application, but he never once acknowledged his own lack of effort and commitment. Chloe had witnessed the whole thing and urged me to give the award to Ethan, claiming there weren't many available spots. I refused firmly, emphasizing how unfair it would be to the other members who had worked diligently all year. Chloe disagreed, arguing that not everyone needed the award as desperately as Ethan did. I stood my ground, stating that if he needed it that badly, he should have demonstrated some effort from the beginning. For the first time, Chloe argued back, calling me heartless. Later, she managed to add Ethan's name to her own project, and he secured his scholarship that way. Now, this old story was resurfacing, but it was being twisted and taken completely out of context. Leo was so petty he denied Ethan an award just because Ethan was close to Chloe. Some posts even claimed Ethan was a struggling student entirely dependent on scholarships, and that if it weren't for Chloe's help, he would have been unable to pay his tuition. This distorted narrative caused an uproar and triggered a wave of outrage from Ethan's fans. They began doxing me, unearthing all of my social media accounts, even the obscure ones I barely used. Videos of my pets were suddenly flooded with hateful comments. That cat is so unlucky to have an owner like you. How can you be so corrupt and vile? Why don't you just go die? The direct messages I received were even more brutal. Some people went as far as to send me black and white, funeral-style photos of my entire family, with captions like, "Hope your whole family goes to hell." Days of this relentless online harassment left me feeling completely drained and dejected. Then, as flu season began, I came down with a high fever. My head was spinning, and I felt utterly miserable. Lying in bed at home, I kept calling Chloe, hoping she would finally step up and explain the truth to the public. This vicious campaign had started to involve my family, and I couldn't just sit by and do nothing. The fever left me disoriented and aching all over. I lost count of how many times I called her, one after another, but no one ever picked up. The hateful words from the internet echoed in my mind, and a deep sense of regret began to take hold. Why had I ever agreed to this ridiculous engagement? What had I ever seen in someone like Chloe? Over and over, I dialed Chloe's number, fully intending to call off the engagement the second she answered. But the phone just kept ringing, unanswered. In my feverish daze, I must have misdialed because I accidentally called a different number. A soft, gentle female voice answered the phone. "Why are you calling me?" she asked. When I regained consciousness, I found myself in a sterile hospital room. A beautiful woman was standing by my bedside. "How are you feeling?" she asked. Her voice cool, yet filled with a gentle concern. The moment I saw her face, a wave of excitement washed over me. "Maya, you're finally back!" The person I had just addressed stiffened. I reached out and held her, unable to stop the words from tumbling out. "I had a terrible fever, and I couldn't reach you. We're getting married in a month. Where have you been?" After I said this, Maya paused, silent for a long moment. "Who am I?" she asked quietly. I was confused. "You're Maya, my fiancé. What are you talking about?" Maya's eyes widened, and a faint blush appeared on her cheeks. "Unbelievable," I said, thinking she was joking. "What do you mean? Are you trying to back out of the wedding?" Maya's eyes flashed with an unreadable emotion. "Haven't you always liked—" Before she could finish her sentence, I interrupted her coldly. "Maya, we are getting married in 1 month. Are you seriously trying to back out now?" We stared at each other for a tense moment before she reached over and pressed the call button next to the bed. "Doctor, could you please come in? I think the patient might be experiencing some memory issues." My parents arrived shortly after the hospital staff had completed their diagnosis. The doctor explained that I was suffering from temporary memory loss, likely brought on by the high fever. Physically, I was fine, but there was no telling when or if my memory would return to normal. My mom and dad stepped out of the room to have a private conversation with the doctor, leaving Maya and me alone. I tugged on her sleeve, feeling bewildered. Did I really mess up my memory? But I clearly remember that we're supposed to get married next month. I could see Maya's breathing become a bit erratic as she gripped my hand tightly. "Leo, you heard what the doctor said. I like you, and I am willing to marry you. But what happens after your memory comes back? When you realize it's me you're marrying, will you regret it?" I interrupted her before she could continue. "I won't regret it. I'm an adult, and I'll stand by my choices." Maya seemed stunned by my declaration. "But I won't force you into anything you're unwilling to do," I added, hugging my knees and feeling a sudden wave of disappointment. "If I got it all wrong, then just forget it. My memory is messed up. You're not obligated to marry a person in my condition." The next moment, she took my hand in hers. Maya met my gaze, her fingers gripping mine. "Let's get married," she said, her breathing quickening as her entire face flushed with color. "Next month, just like you remember." I was discharged from the hospital soon after, but my family remained strangely tight-lipped about my past, avoiding any detailed conversations. My phone, it turned out, had been lost somewhere when Maya brought me to the hospital. When I announced to my parents that the wedding with Maya was on for next month, they agreed without much fuss. With the wedding day approaching, preparations were soon in full swing. I enthusiastically dragged Maya around with me, looking at wedding bands, dresses, and venue decorations. After we had finally picked out our rings, I sneakily snapped a photo of Maya wearing hers and posted it online with a playful caption, "We picked out the rings. Someone's taste isn't quite as good as mine." I had expected to see a few nice comments from friends, but instead, my comment section exploded with confusion. "Huh? Am I seeing things? Did Chloe get some cosmetic work done? She looks good, though. Are you blind? That's clearly Maya." Still feeling confused by the comments, I received a barrage of messages from my best friend, Ben. "Did you dump Chloe?" he asked. I started to type a reply. "Who's Chloe?" But before I could hit send, Ben sent me a location pin for a bar. "Same place tomorrow afternoon. Drinks are on me. We need to chat." The next afternoon, I went to the bar Ben had indicated. Just as I sat down, some guy I didn't recognize walked over to my table. "Leo, what's with the sudden engagement to Maya? Didn't you always have a thing for Chloe? You can't just cave because of a little online drama." Before I had a chance to respond, Ben returned with our drinks and overheard the man's comment. "Why are you bringing that up?" Ben said, his tone sharp. "I've told you before, Leo isn't someone to be strung along, which is exactly what Chloe does. Say it again, and our friendship is over." The guy awkwardly fell silent. The atmosphere became tense, and I couldn't help but ask, "What are you guys talking about? I've always liked Maya. Even if it was an arranged situation, our families have always been close. There's never been room for anyone else." As soon as I said it, the entire room seemed to go quiet. Everyone was looking at something or someone behind me. I turned around and saw a woman standing there, looking incredibly upset. For some reason I couldn't explain, I could feel waves of anger radiating from her. "Leo," she began, her voice strained, "I was gone for just a few days, and you start saying things like this? A few photos are all it takes to set you off? Haven't you grown up at all?" The woman's face darkened with fury. "You like Maya, huh? Fine. Cancel the engagement. Go be with Maya." I wondered who this person was, but I was too busy feeling incensed by her sudden outburst. "Which rock did you just crawl out from under? Of course I'm with Maya. Who else would I be with if not my future wife? If your mind is so messed up, you should go get it fixed instead of picking fights with strangers. Do you not own a mirror? Have you ever heard of a reflection in the water? Go take a look at yourself. You don't even hold a candle to Maya's little toe." I started ranting at the woman, and her face just grew darker and darker, her eyes wide with disbelief. "Leo," she said, her voice dangerously low. "Is this some new trick you're trying to pull? I'm warning you, don't push it too far." Someone behind me tugged on my shirt and whispered urgently, "Leo, what are you doing? That's Chloe we're talking about. Haven't you always been in love with her?" Chloe. That was the name that kept popping up over and over again. I pointed at myself in disbelief. I like her? Images of Maya, my parents, and their strange, guarded reactions flashed through my mind. Was it possible? Did I used to like someone like this? "I've told you many times, Leo," Chloe said, her tone now mocking. "I'm okay with the arranged marriage, but I will never, ever like you." Looking at her, all I felt was a profound sense of disdain. "If I ever liked you before, I must have been completely blind. I like Maya now. So do me a favor and get as far away from me as you possibly can." "You..." Chloe looked utterly enraged and grabbed my wrist. "What game are you playing at now?" Just then, someone stepped between us, and the cool, steady voice of Maya sounded in my ear. "Stay away from him." When Maya appeared, I immediately took her hand. Seeing this, Chloe's expression soured even further. "Leo, do you really think that by doing this I'll fall for you again? Are you trying to make me jealous by using Maya? Don't forget, you've already tried this trick on me before." Without that piece of my memory, I had no idea what she was talking about, but I felt Maya stiffen beside me. A bad feeling started to creep in that what Chloe was saying might be true. Seeing Maya's reaction, Chloe's anger seemed to morph into a cold, calm certainty. With a sneer, she said, "Maya, always rushing over whenever Leo calls. You're such a loyal little dog. Tell me, how did it feel watching us date back in college?" I noticed Maya begin to tremble slightly. She replied coldly to Chloe, "What goes on between us does not require your commentary. All you need to know is that he doesn't want to see you right now." Chloe snorted and turned her gaze back to me. "Leo, this is your last chance. Leave with me right now, and the wedding will still happen in a month. I won't hold what you did today against you. Or Chloe glanced at Maya, the smile vanishing from her face. "You can keep being stubborn, and the engagement is off. No matter how much you threaten me, the choice is yours." She framed it as if she were giving me a choice, but her eyes conveyed absolute certainty that I would let go of Maya's hand and leave with her. Even the look in Maya's eyes seemed to suggest she knew I wouldn't choose her. Everyone in the room seemed to think I would pick Chloe. I remained silent, a storm of confusion raging within me. Was I really that bad before? Seeing my silence, Chloe's expression became more sarcastic than ever, and she even reached a hand out toward me. Maya's grip on my hand loosened, her eyes filled with disappointment. Smack! A crisp, sharp sound echoed through the bar as Chloe clutched her cheek, disbelief written all over her face. "Are you crazy?" she gasped. I pulled Maya close, ruffling her hair protectively. "This girl must be nuts. Honey, let's just go home and ignore her." Since I'd gotten out of the hospital, Maya and I hadn't been this physically close. Calling her honey seemed to make her tense up, but on the other side of us, Chloe looked completely shocked. "Sure, let's go home," Maya said, turning and snuggling into my arms. Ben was the first one to catch on and play along. He feigned surprise. "You're not even married yet, and you're already all over each other. Don't go overboard, you two." Most of our other friends quickly understood the situation and joined in the light-hearted teasing. But not Chloe. She stood in the corner, her face sullen, staring hard at me as Maya and I left, as if she was trying to see right through me. A few days later, Chloe suddenly made a public announcement that she was in a relationship with Ethan. The news caused an uproar. It was one thing for fans to speculate about the couple, but for Chloe, a wealthy heiress, to announce it herself was another story entirely. Dating someone from her family's own entertainment roster was explosive news. People online were guessing all sorts of things, but the main question was why I wasn't making a fuss about it. The truth was, Chloe's parents were already sitting in my family's living room. Chloe's mother put on a brave face. "This was our daughter's mistake," she said, addressing my parents. "We've already scolded her for her behavior." She then took my hand warmly. "Leo, in my eyes, you are the only one fit to be Chloe's husband and our son-in-law. Ethan is just an insignificant actor. We can't possibly let her marry him." I calmly pulled my hand back. Despite my jumbled memories, I managed to remain cool. "There's no need for this, ma'am. Let's just call off the engagement. It's not like we're living in the feudal era. Who cares about social standing anymore? Frankly, I think Chloe and Ethan are a good match. A trashy girl and a dog. They're made for each other, right?" The forced smile froze on Chloe's mother's face, but she persisted. "Leo, I know you've liked Chloe since your college days. You two broke up, and she's just acting out now. If you just say a few nice things to her, I'm sure she'll drop Ethan in a heartbeat." I found her words laughable. A sweet talker. She really seemed to think our family was desperate to form an alliance with theirs. My mother finally put an end to the uncomfortable conversation. "I think we're done here," she said firmly. "Our family does not lack for suitable matches for our son. We only agreed to this engagement in the first place because we thought Leo was still interested in Chloe. It seems we misunderstood the situation. Parents shouldn't make these kinds of decisions for their children. To be honest, Leo is marrying Maya next month. They have been close since they were children and have always had strong feelings for each other. Chloe is a good kid, but she should find someone else." With that said, there wasn't much more Chloe's mother could argue. I'd had enough of the tense atmosphere, so I went out to the garden for a cigarette. Unintentionally, I overheard Chloe's mother on the phone. "You ungrateful brat. You're driving me mad. It's like you have no brain at all. You agreed to the engagement, and now you're running around with some pretty boy actor. Leo and Maya are getting married next month. There's nothing to discuss. Don't you dare call me Mom again." The person on the other end of the line seemed to be saying a lot, but she had no patience for it and scoffed. Do you think everyone is going to pamper you like your father does? I'm done dealing with your nonsense." After hanging up, she turned and met my gaze as I was smoking. A flicker of awkwardness crossed her face, and she let out a deep sigh. "I'm sorry, Leo. Chloe often says one thing but means another, and she has terrible judgment when it comes to people. But as her mother, I have to say, Chloe really does like you. Is there really no chance for you two?" She looked at me with a hopeful expression. I just shook my head. "Auntie, what's the point? Maya and I are doing well, and Chloe doesn't even like me. Forcing people together in a marriage is pointless." She was silent for a moment, then sighed, nodded, and left. My phone buzzed with a message from Maya asking which restaurant I wanted to go to for our weekend date. I smiled and forwarded her the information for a new place I'd found. Maya responded with a simple, "okay" emoji, indicating she would make the arrangements. My gloomy mood lifted instantly, and I walked back inside with a bounce in my step. Some bad memories are best left forgotten. At first, the news about Chloe and Ethan created a huge fuss online, but overnight, all the articles and posts about it were mysteriously pulled down, as if the story had never happened. Curious netizens were left wondering what was going on, but Ethan, who was usually very active on social media, suddenly went completely silent. I surfed online, caught a glimpse of the disappearing drama, and then moved on. The wedding was just around the corner, and both Maya and I were incredibly busy with preparations. A week later, I had a follow-up appointment at the hospital. Maya wanted to come with me, but knowing how hectic her work schedule was, I insisted I would be fine on my own. After picking up my diagnosis report, I was heading downstairs when I ran into Chloe, who was standing alone in the lobby. She looked up when she saw me, and I noticed the dark circles under her eyes. I pretended not to see her and planned to walk right past. "Leo," she called out, her voice strained. She seemed to have had enough of me ignoring her. I turned around, frowning. "Whatever you want to say, just spit it out." A muscle in Chloe's forehead twitched, as if she was unaccustomed to my blunt tone. "The marriage issue," she started, then pressed her lips together, not saying another word. Just as my patience was about to run out, a man's voice came from behind her. "Chloe, who are you talking to?" Ethan, wearing a face mask that only showed his eyes, was holding a bag. When he saw me, his eyes darkened for a moment, but he quickly composed himself. "Oh, Leo, it's been a while. Hello, Senior," he said, tugging on Chloe's arm. "I've seen the doctor. Let's go." However, Chloe remained still, her eyes fixed on me. Ethan's expression stiffened, but he forced a smile. "I get it. Chloe just got back, so it's normal for you two to catch up." He jutted his chin out, acting magnanimous. "I'll be waiting for you over there." I looked back and forth between Ethan and Chloe. "So, you two are really together?" Chloe's breathing hitched. "And what if I say it's true?" I nodded slowly. "You two make a great pair. I wish you both happiness. Just remember to give me 2 red envelopes for my wedding." Leaving those words hanging in the air, I turned to leave, but Chloe gripped my wrist, her voice tinged with anger. "Years have passed, and you still won't listen to my explanation. Why are you always so calm about everything else, but when it comes to Ethan, you're always so suspicious?" I rolled my eyes. It was a classic line. Even with amnesia, I knew that if you think something is fishy, it usually is. I knew myself well enough to know that I wouldn't unjustly accuse someone. I pulled my hand back. "Do I really know you? Were we that close?" Ethan cut in. "Leo, please stop fighting with Chloe. Everything that went wrong, it was all my fault. Don't blame Chloe." I smirked. This guy was good at playing the innocent victim. "Of course, it's your fault," I said. Ethan's smile froze. But your methods suck. Blame my past self for being so dumb. I glanced at Chloe and stated coolly, "Kindly step aside. I need to get home to my fiancée. She's cooking for me." Chloe's attention immediately darted to my words. "You're living together?" she asked, her voice filled with incredulity. I raised an eyebrow. "We're getting married next month. Why would living together be a big deal?" Chloe gritted her teeth and tried to pull my arm again. "We need to talk." In the ensuing scuffle, my diagnosis report slipped from my hand and landed at her feet. Chloe frowned and picked it up. As she read it, her face went stiff. After a long moment, she looked up, her expression bewildered. "Leo, what is this? Amnesia?" Chloe stared hard at the diagnosis sheet, as if she were trying to burn a hole through it with her eyes. "Impossible," she whispered. "How could you just forget?" Her voice trailed off, but the medical report in her hands didn't lie. Noticing her dawning realization, I dropped the pretense of not knowing her. "Yeah, I don't remember, and I don't know you. Now give me back my diagnosis. I have to go home." I reached for the paper, but Chloe quickly hid it behind her back, her face stern. "If you have amnesia, then why did you agree to marry Maya?" she demanded. I replied plainly, "Because I remember Maya." "You remember her, but you claim not to know me?" Chloe's expression darkened as she questioned me. "Leo, do you really think I'll believe that?" I let out a short, humorless laugh. "Believe whatever you want. You can keep the diagnosis. I don't need it." Ignoring Chloe, I turned to go. As I walked away, I heard Ethan's voice behind me. "Chloe, can we head back now?" Chloe snapped at him, "Go by yourself if you have legs." Then she shouted after me, "Leo, I'm going to find out if this diagnosis is fake. Don't you dare play games with me." I just rolled my eyes and kept walking. A few days later, just as I was leaving work, I saw an unfamiliar car parked outside my office. Chloe stepped out, her expression serious. "Is it true? Do you really have amnesia?" I barely frowned, my patience wearing thin. "What's it to you?" She seemed not to notice my resistance. "Come with me," she said, stubbornly trying to grab my hand. I dodged her reach and snapped, "Why should I go anywhere with you?" "That place," she insisted. "It might help you remember something from your past." I was skeptical. What place could possibly be that magical? Just then, my phone buzzed. I unlocked it to see a message from Maya. "Off work yet?" I ignored Chloe completely and focused on replying to Maya. "Yep. What delicious thing did you make for dinner today?" Without me realizing it, Chloe had moved closer and was looking over my shoulder at the message on my phone. Her face fell. "Leo, are you sure you like Maya? Are you so scared of getting your memory back that you're willing to blindly marry her?" Chloe looked unwilling to give up. "I talked to a doctor. He said you need to stimulate your brain to recover your memories. If you go to that place with me, maybe you'll remember something." I turned off my phone and looked her directly in the eyes. "Fine, I'll go." An hour later, I was driving with Chloe to my alma mater, Jiang University. As we walked around the familiar campus, Chloe kept up a relentless stream of stories. "Remember this place, the track and field? We used to come here a lot when we first started dating. And this cafeteria window, the one with the sweet and sour pork, that was always your favorite." Finally, we stopped by the basketball court. It wasn't dark yet, and a number of students were playing a game. Suddenly, there was a commotion, and a basketball came flying directly toward me. "Look out!" Chloe shouted, noticing the ball just in time. Just as I was about to dodge, someone gave me a light push from behind, and I was enveloped in a fresh, soapy scent. When I came to my senses, I was locking eyes with Maya. "Why did you come here with her?" Maya asked, her voice strained. Didn't you say you were coming home for dinner?" I opened my mouth to try and explain, but a sharp, stabbing pain shot through my head. My legs went weak, and Maya caught me just in time. "Leo!" In a daze, Maya helped me to her car, pushing away Chloe, who was trying to intervene. "Are you okay? Drink some water. I'll take you to the hospital right now," Maya said, her voice filled with panic. I managed to grasp her hand weakly. "Wait. Hold on," I mumbled. I think I'm starting to remember." Chloe's haphazard plan had surprisingly worked. While walking around the campus, disconnected pieces of memories had begun flashing in my mind. The near miss with the basketball was the final trigger. I suddenly realized why Chloe had brought me to this specific basketball court. It was where we had first met. But along with that memory came all the others. The arguments, the misunderstandings, the public humiliation, and the gut-wrenching pain I felt when I finally said the words, "Let's break up." I remembered the deep remorse and burning hatred I had felt during that high-fever night. On the way back home, I remained silent. The sudden surge of memories was completely overwhelming. Maya was silent too. When we got back to my apartment, I noticed that the dinner table was fully set, but the food had gone cold from sitting out for too long. "I'll just throw it away later," Maya said in a low, dejected voice. "No, heat it up. I can still eat it," I said quickly. Maya looked up, and I saw that her eyes were slightly red. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I'm really sorry for keeping things from you. The wedding is in a week. If we cancel it now, we still have time." "Wait," I said, rubbing my forehead as I tried to process her words. "Why would we cancel? You got your memory back, right?" Maya bit her lip, her voice trembling slightly. "If you want to go find Chloe, I won't stop you." "Chloe?" I scoffed. "Oh, I'm going to find her all right, to settle the score." The next day I barged into the headquarters of the entertainment company she owned. The receptionist's face paled when she heard who I was, and she awkwardly asked me to wait in the lobby. A few moments later, Chloe came running out, a pleased look on her face. "You came for me? Did you remember something?" I nodded grimly. "Yeah, I remembered. I remembered that I have a score to settle with someone. Get Ethan out here." I had timed my visit perfectly, knowing that Ethan was in the office that day. Before I lost my memory, I had been subjected to a heavy online attack while I was sick and vulnerable. He had gotten off easy for far too long. Chloe hesitated. "Leo, there's really nothing between him and me. Don't be mad. Those photos, I had them taken. Ethan was just playing along with me. I was just angry about our breakup." I laughed at the absurdity of her excuse. "Chloe, don't tell me you actually think I'm here because I'm jealous and still like you." Her face froze at my angry tone. "Fine, I'll get Ethan for you." When Ethan arrived, he was the picture of calm and collected confidence. "What brings you here, Sen?" He didn't get a chance to finish his sentence before my fist connected with his jaw. "What the hell? Are you nuts?" he yelled, stumbling back. I shook my hand, a smile devoid of any humor on my face. "Had I not lost my memory, I would have done this a lot sooner. You should have never involved my family when you were slandering me online." Ethan was stunned, clearly not expecting my attack. "You hit me!" he sputtered. I sneered. "Damn right I did. You hired a mob of online trolls to spread lies about me, fabricating stories about me bullying you in college, remember? Well, I'm here to bully you for real now. What do you have to say for yourself?" Ethan glared at Chloe, who was standing beside him, just frowning. "Leo, is this true?" she asked. "I didn't do anything." Ethan tried to sound confident. "Chloe, you know me, right?" Chloe looked at me, her expression uncertain. "Leo, are you sure there hasn't been some kind of misunderstanding?" I chuckled and turned my attention back to Ethan. You really thought your actions were flawless, didn't you? His face stiffened. What are you talking about? He asked, forcing a smile. I waved my phone, showing him the screen where his name was splashed across the top 3 trending topics online. Ethan Disgusting was the first headline. With trembling hands, he clicked on the link. The top post was a tweet from a random girl. I'm exposing the dirty celebrity Ethan for seducing a minor and being the kept toy of a wealthy older woman. He even got busted by her husband and beaten half to death. She had even posted plenty of video evidence to bury him completely. After regaining my memory, I had logged back into my old social media accounts. Seeing all of the nasty direct messages and slanderous posts didn't even faze me anymore. But among all the DMs, a message from one girl had caught my attention. She told me about Ethan's wrongdoings and said that the victim was her friend, but she had been too scared to report him because Chloe's family's entertainment company was so powerful. Now, seeing me getting trashed online, she was willing to expose Ethan, as long as I protected her identity. As I was leaving, Chloe quietly apologized. I'm sorry, Leo. I had no idea he did those things, or that he would hire people to smear your name. Calmly, I said, it's not important anymore. But it is, Chloe pleaded. Let's get back together, Leo. You remember how it was, right? All of those were just misunderstandings. You liked me, and I liked you. I just shook my head. It's been 5 years, Chloe. I've moved on. The idea of marrying into her family had been my parents' idea. They had assumed I still liked her and had never bothered to ask me directly. I had compromised because, at the time, I thought, why not? I let out a small, bitter laugh. Who I marry really doesn't matter that much to me. Chloe bit her lip, her expression desperate. If it doesn't matter, then cancel the wedding with Maya and marry me instead. I looked at her and smiled, a real smile this time. I used to have a thing for you, Chloe, but now I think I'm genuinely into Maya. When I got home that evening, the apartment was pitch black. I thought no one was there, but when I turned on the lights, I saw Maya sitting on the couch, surrounded by empty wine bottles. I was surprised. She looked up at me, drunk, with a pouty expression on her face. You didn't come home all day? Have you abandoned me? I went over and comforted her. I told you yesterday that I had some things to take care of today. I'm back now, aren't I? Maya wrapped her arms around my waist, nuzzling against my chest. You can't like Chloe anymore. You can only like me. Drunk Maya was so childishly possessive. Normally she would never say something like this. Maybe it was because she always hid her true feelings so well that I had never realized how much she liked me. I closed my eyes, thinking back on everything. I had even dragged Maya along for advice on what gifts to buy for Chloe, using her as a consultant to win over another woman. I had taken her to great restaurants, only to tell her that I would bring Chloe there next time. I couldn't believe how much that must have hurt her, and I had been completely oblivious. I hugged Maya tightly, stroking her back. Never again. From now on, I'll only like you. Hearing this, Maya let go and batted her eyes at me. Really? I smiled and nodded. I'm not lying. Then, suddenly, something warm and sweet, with a faint hint of alcohol, touched my lips. Maya was kissing me. Her grip was so tight I could barely breathe. At the peak of our kiss, I felt my cheek get wet. Maya was crying. Who knows how long we stayed like that before we finally pulled apart. I scooped her up off the couch and carried her to the bedroom. The next morning, Maya was still curled up in my arms, fast asleep. I gently kissed her forehead and got up carefully, trying not to wake her as I headed off to work. As soon as I reached the office, my phone rang. It was Ben, his excited voice coming through the line. Dude, did you check the trending topics yesterday? Even more people are spilling the tea today. It turns out Ethan wasn't from a poor family at all, but a solidly middle-class one. He still took scholarship spots that were meant for needy students. Plus, he was apparently involved in some shady dealings with your old college advisor and took merit scholarships away from other deserving students. It's all out in the open now. As I listened to Ben, I opened my social media to see for myself. Today's headlines were even juicier than yesterday's. And since the allegations involved a minor, the police had officially taken Ethan in for questioning. His fans were desperately trying to paint him as the victim, but no one was buying it against the solid evidence. Then, they started blaming Ethan's company for not doing anything, but within half a day, Chloe's family's entertainment company released a statement announcing that their contract with Ethan, the disgraced artist, had ended this month and would not be renewed. Still, Chloe's company couldn't completely avoid the fallout. Ethan's behind-the-scenes stunts of paying people to spread lies and defame others were exposed, and I was named as one of his primary targets. Now that Ethan's reputation was in tatters, brands had canceled their endorsement deals with him, leaving him facing massive financial penalties. He got what he deserved, and I had no interest in making things any tougher for him. Besides, my wedding with Maya was just around the corner. On the big day, I put on my carefully chosen suit. My parents and Maya's parents were all smiles as they watched us stand before them. Maya's mom was beaming with happiness. "I've always hoped you would be my son-in-law, Leo," she said, "and now here we are." Maya turned as red as a tomato. "Mom," she protested. Maya's mom just grinned. "Why? Did I force you? Do you remember when you were little? You were always saying you wanted Leo to be your hubby, and you'd sulk for days if he didn't play along." I squeezed Maya's fingers, leaning in to tease her. "Who knew you've been plotting to get me since way back then, huh?" Maya's face turned an even deeper shade of red, and she looked away, flustered. I was laughing so hard I could barely stand up straight. The wedding ceremony hadn't officially started yet. Maya had gone to touch up her makeup, and I was waiting for her backstage when, out of nowhere, Chloe appeared before me. Seeing her, I frowned. "What are you doing here? The guest seating isn't this way." Chloe looked at me with a bitter expression. "So, you're really marrying Maya, Leo? Come with me, will you? I've kicked Ethan out of the company and I'm completely done with him." Chloe lowered her eyes. "I didn't see things clearly before, and that's why we broke up over a misunderstanding. I'll make it all up to you. Can you please give me another chance?" I sighed. Her persistence was starting to get on my nerves. Just as I was about to speak, a cold, firm voice came from behind me. "He can't." I turned around to meet Maya's eyes. She stood protectively in front of me, looking directly at Chloe. "Chloe, what are you trying to prove here?" Amy's eyes were filled with unwavering determination. Chloe looked at Maya with resentment. "How long have you two even been together? How do you know you won't make the same mistake I did?" Maya let out a cold laugh. "I'm sure I won't. It takes a fool to misjudge someone's character, and I will always choose to trust Leo." Chloe's face darkened. "You?" "Enough," I said, stepping in front of Maya. "Chloe, this is the last time I'm going to say this. During all the fights we had, I felt hatred and disappointment. But the minute I decided to break up with you, it meant that our relationship was well and truly over. In my heart, I have never felt a single moment of regret about that decision. I don't dwell on the past, nor the people or things in it. You don't need to apologize to me because I no longer care." I looked over at Maya, my heart swelling with affection. Now I have found someone I truly love and care about. Chloe, let's just leave each other with some dignity, okay? Chloe stared into my eyes, motionless. After a long moment, the light in her gaze seemed to fade, and she turned and walked away without another word. The wedding march began to fill the grand banquet hall as delicate pink petals gently floated down from above. In the center of the hall, surrounded by our family and friends, the priest solemnly recited the wedding vows. I placed the ring on Maya's finger, my eyes soft and tender. I do, I said. Maya smiled back at me, her eyes shining. I do too. As fireworks burst outside, we embraced and kissed amidst the cheers and applause of everyone we loved.